The Nazis laughed when they saw him. 7 seconds later, 3 of their trains were gone. The boy no one was watching. June 14th, 1943. Eastern Poland, a forest rail corridor outside the village of Ww2. The rails hum long before the train appears. You hear it first, a low vibration traveling through iron and dirt, a warning carried by the ground itself. Birds lift from the trees, pine needles tremble. Somewhere far down the line, a German freight locomotive claws forward, dragging a chain of armored boxcars loaded with ammunition, fuel drums, and men who believe this route is safe. They are wrong. Hidden among ferns and fallen logs, 12-year-old Ww2 presses his cheek into the damp soil and waits. His breath fogs the lenses of the wire-framed eyeglasses perched crookedly on his nose glasses, scavenged from a dead German surveyor months earlier. The frames are too large for his face. One lens is cracked. The left temple is bent inward. To anyone else, they are useless. To Jakub, they are a weapon. The boy does not look like a saboteur. His coat is patched, his boots are mismatched, his hair is cropped short, not by fashion, but by necessity. Lice spreads fast in the woods. If a German patrol passed him on the road, they would see only another orphan hauling firewood. That is why he is alive. 3 months earlier, his world had ended. March 3rd, 1943. Same rail line, same forest. Jakub had been standing beside his father on this very track, watching cattle cars grind past toward the east. No windows, no markings, only screams leaking through wooden slats. His father, Marek, had squeezed his shoulder and whispered the words Jakub would never forget. Remember what you see. Someday, it will matter. That night, the village burned. SS troops swept through Ww2 before dawn. Houses were torched. Men were lined against walls. Jakub watched from a ditch as his father was shot for refusing to hand over a list of Jewish families. His mother disappeared into a truck headed north. His little sister never made it out of the house. By morning, Jakub was alone. He survived because the forest took him in and because the resistance needed boys like him. Children were invisible. Children could move. Children could watch. Within weeks, Jakub became a runner for a local partisan cell. He memorized train schedules, counted axles, learned which engines hauled fuel and which carried troops. And one afternoon, while scavenging near an abandoned rail depot, he found the glasses. They had belonged to a German engineer killed during an earlier sabotage attempt. Jakub tried them on out of curiosity and noticed something strange. When he tilted his head just right, sunlight bent sharply through the cracked lens, concentrating into a narrow, blinding point. A burning white needle. He tested it on dry leaves. Smoke curled upward within seconds. That night, Jakub didn't sleep. By May, the resistance began noticing something impossible. Rail lines thought secure were erupting into chaos, not from bombs or mines, but from fires that appeared from nowhere. Ammunition cars igniting without warning, fuel drums detonating mid-journey. German reports blamed overheating brakes, sabotage by unknown accelerants, faulty cargo handling. They never considered a child. On June 14th, Jakub lay beside the track again, but this time, he wasn't alone. 3 trains were scheduled within minutes of each other. A supply convoy, a troop transport, and behind them, a fuel train staggered closely to reduce partisan attacks. The Germans believed speed was protection. Jakub believed patience was. The first locomotive roared past, steel wheels screaming against the rails. Jakub rose to one knee, lifting his glasses with trembling hands. He angled the cracked lens toward the sun, tracking the glint across a sealed ammunition car. 7 seconds. That was all it took. The wooden panel blackened. Smoke puffed. Then fire punched through like a fist. The explosion ripped the car open, flinging shrapnel into the second train just as it entered the curve. Soldiers were thrown from open doors, screams drowned beneath metal, tearing itself apart. Before the shockwave settled, The third train plowed straight into the wreckage, fuel drums rupturing, gasoline atomizing in the air. The forest lit up like noon. Jakub didn't stay to watch. He ran. Behind him, 3 Nazi trains burned, destroyed in less time than it takes to draw a breath. And somewhere in the inferno, German officers would soon begin asking a terrifying question. How does a boy fight an empire with nothing but broken glasses and sunlight? The 7 seconds that terrified the Reich. June 14th, 1943. 10 minutes later, same rail corridor. The forest is no longer quiet. Ammunition cooks off in violent, irregular bursts. Sharp cracks followed by rolling concussions that ripple through the trees. Flames leap from car to car, devouring canvas, uniforms, bodies. The smell of burning oil and scorched flesh clings to the air like a fog. German soldiers stagger blindly from the wreckage, uniforms aflame, rifles dropped. Medics scream for stretchers that will never arrive. Officers shout orders no one can hear. And above it all, a single thought spreads faster than the fire. This was not an accident. By nightfall, the rail corridor is sealed. Floodlights cut through the smoke. SS investigators crawl over twisted steel, measuring blast patterns, photographing scorch marks. They find no explosives, no detonators, no wires. Only one detail unsettles them. The ignition points are precise, identical, always on sealed cars carrying fuel or ammunition, always on the sun-facing side. At headquarters in Lublin, an intelligence officer writes a phrase he will later regret. Enemy uses unknown ignition method. The hunt begins immediately. Roadblocks spring up across villages. Boys are pulled from homes and interrogated. Eyeglasses are confiscated. Anyone with lenses is beaten. A curfew locks the countryside down. Jakub hears about the search from a partisan courier 2 days later. He does not panic. He already knows what fear looks like, and this is not it. Instead, he adjusts. The next attack happens a week later, then another. Each time, the technique evolves. Jakub learns to compensate for cloud cover, for angle, for distance. He experiments with blackened cloth to shield the lens until the exact moment. He learns how long it takes for different cargo to ignite. He becomes careful. The war does not reward caution forever. On July 2nd, 1943, a patrol spots him near the tracks at dawn. A soldier shouts. A rifle cracks. Dirt explodes beside Jakub's feet. He runs. Branches whip his face. Roots tear at his boots. Behind him, dogs are unleashed, trained, relentless. He stumbles, falls, scrambles up again. At the edge of a ravine, Jakub turns once and does the unthinkable. He raises the glasses. Sunlight flashes. A handler screams. One dog collapses, fur smoking, eyes ruined. The others scatter in confusion. Jakub disappears into the ravine. By August, the Germans are calling him Der Sonnenjung, the Sun Boy. A ghost, a myth, a weapon they cannot counter. Rail traffic slows, supplies reroute, entire divisions experience shortages. A child has done what air raids and artillery could not. And then, as suddenly as it began, it stops. No more fires, no more wrecks. The Germans assume they have won. They are wrong again. Jakub leaves Poland in September, escorted by resistance fighters through forests and rivers, carrying nothing but the glasses wrapped in cloth. He is smuggled east, then south. His trail vanishes into the chaos of war. After 1945, Soviet records briefly mention a juvenile partisan specialist in optical ignition. Western intelligence files note unexplained rail losses in 1943. No name is attached. Jakub never speaks publicly. Years later, a man with scarred hands and poor eyesight will teach physics at a small school in Krakow. He will tell students about refraction, about how light can be bent, focused, turned, dangerous. He will never mention trains, never mention 7 seconds. But somewhere in the forests of Eastern Europe, Rusted rails still bear scorch marks that no bomb left behind. Marks made by a boy no one was watching,